How's it going, everybody? This is Mark with @Tech. In this video, we are going to be checking out the Desklab monitor. This is a portable monitor that you plug into your computer and it just works. It's super thin and lightweight, and best of all, it's a touchscreen. There's a ton of cool things about this monitor, so let's go ahead and check it out. Right here we have the 1080p Desklab monitor. They have two versions, 4K and 1080p. I got the 1080p model for a couple of reasons. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's take a look at the monitor itself real quick. Inside the box, we will find the monitor, our USB-C cable, a HDMI cable, and a user manual. That is it. That's all you get in the box. Since we have no way of actually propping this up or standing it in any form, we need to find another solution. You can use a picture frame holder if you want, or you can get one of the optional, although somewhat required accessories directly from Desklab. I have the folio. This is a cover that covers the front of the screen when it's not in use to protect it, and then it flips around back and it becomes a stand. It's $50. It's a little bit much for a stand, but I think it's a really great option if you want to go with a first-party accessory. The stand itself is very smooth. It has a soft microfiber on the inside to protect the screen, and it allows you to set it up in multiple angles using a combination of the magnets in the stand and the rubber feet on the actual monitor. Taking a look around the monitor, we have this brushed steel look. It looks really cool, and it feels pretty durable as well. On the left, we have our power button, which acts as your input switch as well. We have a little dial on the side, which will allow you to change some settings, which we'll take a look in a minute. And we also have a headphone jack, so you can output audio from the monitor to your headphones. On the right side, we have a mini HDMI port. We also have two USB-C ports on the side. Cool thing is that you can use either of those USB-C ports as a display input. And then finally we have a micro USB port. That micro USB port is going to be used for peripherals. So you can use a micro USB to USB adapter and you can plug in a keyboard or a mouse. Taking a look at the on-screen display and menus, we can choose our input by pressing the power button. If we push the toggle up, we can change the volume of the internal speakers. If we push it down, we can change the brightness. And then if we press it in, we can open up our menu. There's a ton of different options in the settings. As you expect on a normal monitor, we can change the brightness, contrast, color temperature, sharpness, volume, on-screen display settings, language settings, and a whole bunch of other things. As you probably heard me say a couple of times, this does have speakers inside the monitor. One great thing about USB-C and HDMI is that it's able to pass through audio, so we get speaker functionality here. There's two right on the bottom of the monitor, and they are firing off the table, reflecting at you. And for being as small as they actually sound pretty good. I'd say better than most laptop speakers, so it's definitely an improvement if you want to go that route. Let's talk a little bit about the distinctions between the 1080p and the 4K model. The 1080p model is powered by the computer, 5 volts, 2 amps, directly through the USB-C connection. That means no need for a power adapter or a battery. You just plug it in and it works. And that's the great thing about this monitor is it's plug and play. Even the touchscreen doesn't need drivers, doesn't need any software. You plug it in, touchscreen works right away. So that's one advantage of the 1080p model is that it doesn't need power. On the other side, the 4K model does need to be plugged into either a battery or an outlet in order to function properly. So that's something to keep in mind. That's why we have two USB-C ports, one for power, one for input. But in the case of the 1080p model, both of those can be used for input if you want. I actually prefer the 1080p model. I would like more resolution, but the benefits of being able to not have to plug it in anywhere, I think makes it worth it for me. Now let's talk about the touchscreen. It only works on Windows, unfortunately. You don't get support on Mac. However, Macs do support touchscreens. You may not know this, but they do support them. They just need the proper drivers. So if Desklab were to go out and make drivers for a Mac, you could have this touchscreen work on a Mac. But on the Windows side, it's plug and play. You plug it in, the monitor turns on, and it works with the touchscreen right away. I did have a couple of issues where it wouldn't recognize input, and scrolling and dragging my finger didn't work all that well, but I feel it's a lot more of a Windows driver and implementation issue than it is the monitor. So I'm going to say this one's probably a Windows issue, not necessarily the monitor, but using it as a touchscreen is really cool. Everything works, it's super responsive, there's not really much of a delay. One of the downsides of being powered directly through the computer is the lack of brightness. Unfortunately, the monitor does not get very bright, and that's completely due to the limitation of the power it can receive from the computer's USB port. It just doesn't get very bright. You don't want to use this outside, but it does have an anti-reflective matte coating, which should help a little bit with that. This is a fairly large 15.6-inch screen, and it is IPS. Viewing angles are okay on this. Once you do get to fairly extreme angles, you do see a little bit of darkness creeping in from the edges and some of the color fringing, as expected with a matte display monitor. I can only speak to the quality of the 1080p model, but for what it is, it's a fairly good 1080p monitor. It's decently sharp, and it looks how you would expect a good 1080p monitor to look. The 1080p model is $300 and the 4K model is $400. There's a wide range of accessories you can pick up, but again, this folio cover is $50. Right now you can pre-order it on their website, which will be linked in the description below. They are shipping fairly soon, so get your order in before the time runs out on that. But overall, I'm a big fan of this monitor. I really like how small and lightweight it is. The 1080p model is actually really good for travel because you don't need any power. It's small and lightweight enough that it can slip into a bag right along with your monitor, and it's a really big screen, so you can do a lot of work on it as well. If you want to learn more or pick it up, links will be in the description below. I'm a really big fan of this, so definitely go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, leave a like and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. This is Mark, and I will see you in the next one.